Good morning. It's Saturday the 21st of January 2023 and this morning I've come to the town of Bolsover. I'm walking through Bolsover marketplace with its war memorial, where there has been a market since the 13th century. The row of shops at 42 to 46 Marketplace date from the 17th century and are the oldest commercial buildings in Bolsover. I cross Station Road near the timbered Cavendish Hotel, a late 19th century pub, and headed into Cavendish Walk. This cobbled square is a sheltered spot on a sunny day, with a lovely cafe and a cluster of independent shops. Crossing back over Station Road, I turned left to walk along Cotton Street, passing the Bolsover Town Council building, built in 1865 and once a primitive Methodist chapel. Turning left opposite the pretty collection of 17th century cottages, I followed Church Street to reach St Mary and St Lawrence Church. This beautiful church has a 13th century tower and an adjoining chapel, built in 1624, which houses the remains of Charles Cavendish. From the High Street, I turned off along a narrow alleyway called Surprise View. Oop. I've never actually walked along here before. Like I've said before with many places in Derbyshire, I've been to Bolsover loads and loads of times whilst I've been living here. It just shows that you need to sort of just park your vehicle, get out and walk around, and you see much more. I've never seen this before. I walked down the steps, then turned right on the path that took me through the peaceful, pretty Bolsover back hills. So this is Conduit House, apparently one of 4 built in 1626 to collect water for the castle. Reaching Castle Lane, I followed it downhill as far as a public footpath off to the right. Yeah, a lot of fog around at the moment, which was forecast today, but the sun's out. It's supposed to be sunny all day, so hopefully before long the fog will be burnt away. But yeah, when I left home this morning, it was really quite foggy, and as soon as I got on the tops on the way to Chesterfield, it was as clear as anything. And then as I approached Bolsover, the fog got thick again. So at the moment, you can't see very far in front of you. So hopefully when I come back this way, we will see exactly what I want to see today. Beyond the bottom of the field, I walked between the houses of New Bolsover village. This bit is called New Bolsover. Not a part of the town I come to very often because it's sort of a little bit off the beaten track, but I've been through this part before, quite some years ago now, but these old houses, they're really impressive looking buildings. Yeah. I just love coming to these old towns where they've got so much character in the architecture. Yeah. Oh well. Okay. Not much further to go now, and then I'll just be walking more into the country now. So I'm now walking along another of Derbyshire's trails, which follows the course of an old disused railway. This is the Stockley Trail. So I've walked along little bits of it before, but not much. But today I'm just walking a very short distance before I turn off again. So. After about 600 metres along the Stockley Trail, I turned right, soon entering Carr Vale Flash Nature Reserve, with its currently frozen lake. Well, I can hear the M1 nearby, but I can't see it. But I will be crossing it very soon. Passing the lake, I followed a clear footpath, crossing diagonally across the field. Emerging onto Carr Lane, I turned right to go over the M1. Just before a house, I turned right off the lane onto a footpath. I am now approaching the ruins of an old building, Sutton Scarsdale Hall. Sutton Scarsdale Hall, formerly East Derbyshire's rival to Chatsworth. Sutton Scarsdale Hall was one of the great buildings of the early 18th century, but since 1920 has stood as a gaunt ruin. The Sutton estate had belonged to the Leake family from the 14th century, and it was the last of the line, Nicholas, 4th Earl of Scarsdale, who rebuilt the family seat between 1724 and about 1730. The cost of his ambitious project bankrupted him, and on his death, the estate was sold to pay his debts. I can't go inside the ruins because it's fenced off for safety reasons, but it still looks impressive enough on the outside. Next to the hall is the parish church of St Mary. Well, this is the closest I can get to the hall today. But there's still a lot to see from the outside, even though it's a ruin. Fantastic. And from here, now that the fog has gone, I've got a brilliant view of Bolsover. Look at that. So that's Sutton Scarsdale Hall, and it was really nice to see it again. Okay, well, I'm going to have my lunch in a minute, but I'm going to start making my way back to Bolsover. Well, the sun is glorious now. All the fog has gone, so I can see all the views around me clearly now. The only thing is, now that it's sunny, all the frost has now turned to water, so it's all sludgy and slippery. As I make my way through this field, I'm trying my hardest not to slip on my bottom, but there we go. Anyway, as I make my way back towards Bolsover, I'm going to give today's shout out. And that goes to Peaklass. Now Peaklass, she is a Peak District photographer and writer. She has written all the features, articles and walks for Let's Go Peak District, which is the largest independent visitor website for the Peak District. She has also written many Peak District and Derbyshire walks for the official tourist board of that area. Now the reason I'm giving her a shout out today is because she's actually written a walk around Bolsover, and I'm actually doing a variation of it. But it's two walks she's done. She's written a walk around Bolsover town, and I basically followed that first thing this morning. And she's also written the walk from Bolsover to Sutton Scarsdale. And again, that's the walk I'm doing now. So I'm really doing my own version of her two walks combined. So just a couple of modifications, but basically it's the walk that she's written. So yeah, I'll leave all the details for Peaklass's social media pages, as always, in the description below the video. As I slowly approached Bolsover again, I reached Fidler Nature Reserve, which sits on the former Bolsover coal mine south tip. Still quite a bit of frost here, but I guess it's a bit more sheltered, so the sun hasn't reached it yet. And we still have some frozen ponds. Wonderful. This cairn is dedicated to the life and achievements of Peter Fidler, 1769 to 1822, son of Bolsover. Peter Fidler, born on the 16th of August 1769 at Sutton Mill, Bolsover. Laid to rest at Fort Dauphin, Canada, aged 53 years. His achievements for Canada were as great as Captain Cook's for England. Leaving the nature reserve, I reached the main A632 to climb back up to Bolsover. Now that I'm back in Bolsover, I should be saying that I'm at the end of my walk, but I'm not quite at the end. I've still got one more thing to see, one more very important thing to see. In fact, for me, this is the highlight of today's walk. I'm about to visit Bolsover Castle. Bolsover Castle was the fantasy hilltop pleasure palace of a horse-mad cavalier playboy, poet and courtier, Sir William Cavendish. At weekends, between April and September, a display of cavalier horsemanship can be enjoyed. The riders are clothed in the frills, feathers and high boots of the period, and expertly demonstrate moves that we know today as dressage. At 5 to 3, and it's this place closes at 4, so I've come at a good time again. Hopefully I'll sort of come here when most of the people have gone home by now. So, yeah, I've been here before, it's great, some years ago. See, for a ruin, for a ruined castle, it's still impressive. apartments fit for a king. Wow. These would have been some apartments.
The vast terrace range overlooking the Vale of Scarsdale was also created by Sir William. Now a dramatic roofless shell, this was once a range of stately rooms that formed the entrance to Bolsover Castle.
Oh wow. Now this is what I call a view. A grand view on a grand scale. Wow indeed. Yeah, very grand indeed. So, I'm now looking west towards Chesterfield. It's quite hazy, so you can sort of see quite a way away, but sort of beyond Chesterfield you can just make out the hills of the Peak District. Let's see what we've got in here then.
I went inside the little castle, created as an extravagant retreat by Sir William, with medieval-style turrets and towers, and a labyrinth of beautifully restored lavish rooms, with richly coloured wall art, carved marble fireplaces, and stunning painted ceilings.
Up we go. Now, decision. Do I go left or right? I'm going to go right because I'm like that one. Up to the top. All these little rooms. Well, not so little really. Say, this little room is probably twice as big as my sitting room in my flat. This is taking me back outside now.
I entered the wonderfully recreated fountain garden, designed around the statue of Venus, goddess of love and pleasure, emerging from her bath.
Right, I want to walk along there. I think I can see a way up there to get to it. Here we are.
I was now on Bolsover Castle's restored circular wall walk, which go right around the garden, allowing panoramic views over the castle grounds and the Vale of Scarsdale.
This is really nice. I better get my skates on there because it's about 4:15 and it closes in 15 minutes. It's been lovely walking around Bolsover Castle again. I have been here before. First time I joined English Heritage I came here. But the first time I actually came to the castle would have been 15 years or more. Yeah, I can't believe it really. But it was with a couple of friends of mine. I came here to the Bolsover Food Festival because that was actually held in the castle grounds. That was really interesting. I wonder if they still actually have that now, because I think that probably was an annual event at the time. Whether it still goes on or not, I don't know. But yeah. Okay. Yep. I better go now because I might get locked in. Either that or they'll be searching for me and they'll be drag me out. Kicking and screaming. Well, it's been lovely coming back to Bolsover Castle again. Really enjoyed today's walk as well. At 6.5 miles I think it was today. Yeah, so I enjoyed the walk from Bolsover to Sutton Scarsdale Hall. But certainly the highlight for me today has been finishing up here and having a look around Bolsover Castle. Absolutely wonderful.